Hey friends, this is the Miss Wolfie from our Half Acre Homestead, and tonight it's what's for supper. Just plain old supper. Scalloped potatoes, baked pork chops, and rutabagas with carrots. Now, first our scalloped potatoes. We've got 3 nice big russets because we're only making a dish this size because it's just for Howie and I. Now, I could make a larger dish and then fry the leftovers with breakfast, but I'm just not there today. So, we're gonna thin slice these potatoes, and there's a way I like to do it. I like to cut a thin slice off of one side, put that back in the water, and then we just lay it on that flat side and slice. And I'm going to be putting these back in the water because I want to wash the starch off. Got to use 3 potatoes because this is when people say they have a hard time cooking for going from a family to cooking for 2. This is how I do it. Okay? 3 potatoes. Why? How many potatoes do you eat, Howard?
3.
You do not. You eat 2. So that's why there's 3. There's 1 for me and 2 for Howard. Now, I know people tell me to use a mandolin slicer, but I almost took knuckles off of my fingers one day. So I'm not that. I can't be that fancy. I really can't. Okay, so there's our potatoes cut up. I'm making this au gratin, which of course means with cheese. And this is a whole meal video. Why? Because you don't want to make a lovely dish and then not show what it goes best with, right? And when it comes to scalloped potatoes, pork, pork, pork. Hey, dear. So there goes our onion in there. Now I'm going to rinse these off, and I'm going to meet you over at the stove so that we can make our sauce. All right, so now we're going to make our white sauce for our cheese sauce. Now, some people add the white sauce. I've got about 2 tablespoons of butter and about a 1/4 cup of flour there. Oh, of course, things are going to smoke now. And we're just going to kind of cook the butter and the flour together to get that raw flour taste out of there. And because this is a cheese dish, we are going to add some mustard powder for zing, just like we do with our mac and cheese. Now, you can use regular milk, but my husband opened a can of evaporated milk for his coffee, didn't like it, so that's what we're going to use. This will help make it nice and rich. There's less water. Now, I think this might be just a little bit too thick, but guess what? Those raw potatoes, I'm used to working with dried ingredients, and those raw potatoes are going to give off a good amount of water, and so are the onions. So we're just going to get this, not completely thick, but thick enough that we can pour it, right? And then hope that the rest of it will thicken up as the potatoes thin it out. Does that make sense? All right, let's get over to the table. Alrighty. Now I've just got a bit of butter on a piece of paper towel because I can't find a pastry brush, so we'll do in a pinch, and we're going to butter our pan really well. You do you, I use butter. And now we're going to take a couple of handfuls of these potatoes and put them all in here, just like that. We only want half of them, right? Oh yeah, see how thick this sauce is? That's going to make it wonderful for when the potatoes start giving off juice. Now we're using, this is not mozzarella, this is just a brick cheese, one of my favorites. And we're just going to pour some of this all over that. It doesn't have to be completely even because it's all going to come out in the wash. So, now we're just, I think I may have too much sauce. Oh well, can you ever have too much sauce, dear?
No.
No, you can never have too much sauce. especially when it's cheese mustard sauce, one of Daddy's favorites. So we're just going to try and spread this. You know what? It probably would have been easier if I just mixed it all up in a bowl and then just dumped it in. But you know what? We do try and make these things fairly kosher. Now, I'm just going to top this with cheese. Oh, crazy. Here, cheese. So I kind of might have went overboard with the cheese and the sauce. I should have probably put another potato in there. But you know what? It's going to be good. Yes, I'm going to cover this in foil and put it in a 350-degree oven, and then we're going to prepare our pork chops. Now you can make your own shake and bake with your blend of flour and seasonings. But what I like to do is I just like to season the chop itself. And today we're going to try some Kansas City steak seasoning. Just because I use garlic and paprika and salt and pepper on most meats. But you know what? We're just going to dust this over the top and pop this in the oven with the scalloped potatoes at 350 for about 45 minutes. But after about 25 minutes, I'm going to come in and flip these over and add some more seasoning. We were going to have beans, and I asked Daddy, and he said he would rather have mashed neeps and carrots. For anybody who doesn't know what that is, this is my home canned rutabagas and carrots. And I will show you how I prepare them. Our pork chops out first, and we're going to let this rest for a minute. And I'm going to show you how I prepare my turnips and carrots. Okay, first things first, I put about a tablespoon of butter in there. Well, that's actually closer to 2 teaspoons. And just a little drop of molasses, pepper, a little pinch of salt. Now remember folks, these are not turnips as my American friends would understand turnips. These are rutabagas is what they're called in the States. We call them turnips or Swedes here in Canada. And I can them with carrots to make them naturally sweet. But once in a blue moon, Papa says, let's have neeps and make them sweet. They're not really sweet, folks. It just takes a little bit of the bitterness off. All right, set that aside, and then I'm going to get out the scalloped potatoes. Goodness, isn't that beautiful? All right, we'll let them rest while I dish up the turnips. Well, let's go over to the island where it's, look, there's more space. All right, we'll give Daddy this nice big, isn't that beautiful, folks? You asked for, there's onion in the scalloped potatoes here. This is pork chops. Right. Now we're just going to take Daddy a nice, a nice portion of our scalloped potatoes. Look at that. All right, let's take that to Papa.
There you go.
Now this,
I'm ready for dinner.
This is pork chops, mustard cheese scalloped potatoes, and your favorite combination of neeps and carrots. Watch it, baby. It's hot. Yeah, I know. Gracie. Now, I put a little bit of steak spice plus garlic and stuff on the chops, so let me know if you like that.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you, honey. Gracie says if it's awesome, where's mine?
Yeah.
This is the Miss Wolfie from our half-acre homestead, and that's just supper. Hope you enjoyed it. We're gonna take care. God bless.